Welcome back, and today we're looking at the Sencut Slashkin. This is a brand new offering from Sencut, and it's a pretty nice size EDC knife. You have a nice drop point blade of a D2 steel, and it's coming in at 3.48 inches long, so nice full size blade. You got some nice texture jimping up here for some nice grip. You have a nice needle-like point for pokey task and piercing task. You have a full-size forward finger choil to choke up on that edge. And you have a nice satin finish on here, nice and clean. Dual thumb studs, we'll talk about that later. And you have a mid-height hollow grind that comes down to about 16 to 17 thousandths behind the edge. So this thing should slice really, really well. Let's find out. Knife came screaming sharp, as they mostly all do, and it was slicing well. I did have to make an adjustment because at first I choked back behind the flipper tab. I did need to get up in that forward finger choil so I didn't get hung up like I did the first couple of times I was slicing through it. But super slicey. That hollow grind is very, very nice. It's passing through the material very, very fast, and you got a good amount of blade there, so you can do longer cuts fairly easily, especially with that drop point blade. So far so good. Their D2 usually holds up really well. We'll find out. Now we're going to test the ergos on this piece of birch wood. Right away I got up into that forward finger choil area because it was nice and comfortable. I was nice and locked in. The edge was very, very nice. It had a good bit of bite to it, and I was able to get a lot of force in that forward finger choil area, and the hammer grip in that way, and I had a lot of power. Nice blade shape for doing wood shaving like this. I'm not really trying to make any feather sticks or anything. I'm just trying to see how it feels when you really bear down into the wood, and it was comfortable. Excellent job. Even though it's flat scaled knife, they had no sharp spots, no hot spots that I felt, and I could have done this for a really, really long time. Cutting on a flat surface is going to be a breeze because you have that nice low point. It's underneath the center line of the pivot, so you can get that tip down onto whatever you're cutting. That hollow grind is slicing very, very well, and it still has a very keen edge up there in the front. It was passing through all the materials nicely, didn't get hung up at all. Even where the hollow grind ends, it didn't have any problems, and it's got a good bit of bite. It's blasting through this denim. This is the rougher denim, and yeah, couldn't be happier at this point. I'm hoping it still has bite once we get to the sisal rope. We shall see. Yeah, right away, it's always so nice when the knife has bite and it's still sharp at this point. I've tested 3 other knives today, and none of them felt like this, and they were all a lot more expensive than this knife. So very well, very good job, Sencut. It's blasting through the rope, no problems. Mainly just doing that rocking motion cut, and I was comfortable in the pinch grip. And yeah, I could have probably done this a lot longer than I did. I ran out of rope at around 40 cuts, and with D2, this is actually thicker rope as well. This is 3/4 inch instead of the 1/2 inch I usually use. I ran out, so 40 cuts is excellent, at least in my opinion. I think it did outstanding. Nice and comfortable as well. Of course, once we're done with all this, we will test that edge out just to see how it still is after all that cutting, but I think it'll be pretty darn good. Let's test that edge. Yeah. Gotta say, I'm impressed with Sencut's edges. All right, now let's take a look at the deployment and the action. You have dual deployment. You have a flipper tab with some nice jimping on there. You have thumb studs. It flips nice and hard. It's on ceramic bearings and a ceramic detent ball. Nice drop shut action. Nice thumb stud action. Easily slow rolled. You have G10 scales. They are flat, but they got nice chamfers and no sharp spots where you don't want them to be. Peel ply, so it does give you some added texture. Very nicely done. You have a T8 pivot, T8 body screws, excellent. You have a reversible tip-up left or right-handed deep carry pocket clip that sits all the way to the bottom. I wish they would have inset that clip into the G10, but at least they did the screws. So at $49 that this knife costs, I'm okay with that. You have a hidden lanyard pin back there so you don't have any extra holes in the handle that you don't want there. You have 2 hourglass standoffs in the back, nice size standoffs. You have a good bit of internal milling on the top and the bottom to try to relieve weight as much as possible. It's coming in at around 4.14 ounces, so not a featherweight, but it carries nice in the pocket. Take a look at the lockup. It's sitting at around, I'd say, 50% or so. Nice and solid lockup, no play at all, any direction. Very solid lockup. This would make an excellent work knife. Access to the lock bar is just okay. They got a small little cutout here and you do have some texture, but it's not super easy to get your thumb there. Something that Sencut and Civivi struggle with quite often. Wish they would just give us a little bit more cutout right here just to make it a little bit easier. You can use the fat of your thumb. It's a lot easier to do it that way. It's not terrible, but it definitely could have been better. The centering on mine is perfect. Good blade to handle ratio. You're getting pretty much all the blade you can in that handle. Love seeing that. Now for some quick size comparisons, you have the Ontario Rat Model 1 and 2. As you can see, it's almost identical to the Rat Model 1. Next up, we have the Civivi Relic and the Sencut Snap. It's closer to the Snap, but it is bigger than both of these. And lastly, we have the Sencut Serene and the Sencut Sashi. It's just a little bit bigger than the Serene, and it's a good bit bigger than the Sashi. All right, nitpicks and complaints. Like I said earlier, I wish I would have inset that clip into the G10, but I'm okay with it at this price point. And I wish they'd give us a little bit more lock bar access right here by cutting this down just a hair. But other than that, at $49, they actually gave us a satin finish, so I'm not worried about that D2 corroding as much as if it was like a blasted finish. And I'm sure you could probably get this in a coated blade as well. I'm not too sure. I know they always have several different options, but you know, it's a good work knife, nice and slicey. It has a nice flipping action. I think it looks nice. It's got an excellent blade shape that's going to be good for just about anything you throw at it. Yeah, overall, I think it's a good knife. Just depends on if it's something you need in your collection or not. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them down below. I hope everybody's having an absolute amazing day. I will see y'all on the next one. Peace.